this one's up for grabs. I'm not going to call on folks. Whoever wants to answer it, just take it. But when we think about the challenges of the last 6 months, we think about leadership and how our leadership style has had to change to adapt to the market conditions. Are there things about your leadership style that you've learned in terms of rallying and motivating employees that you think are kind of forever changes? Like, are there leadership changes you've made in yourself that are not just pertinent now to 2020, but to 2021 and beyond? How have you changed as a leader to motivate your team and to acclimate to this new condition? Anyone can take that one. Rick, I see you coming off mute there.
Sure, I'm happy to get it started, and looking forward to hearing everybody's thoughts on this. I think the style and the actions are not completely different, still very consistent with our values and the way that we like to take care of our people, et cetera. But you've just seen the importance of the frequent interaction. For example, I mentioned how much time we're spending together as a senior leadership team, and that's continued. I think that's really helped our relationships, and it's also absolutely helped our decision-making speed. We know each other, we know what facts we need. We're going to talk later today anyway if we need to make a call. And so one is that frequent touch is really important. Certainly empowering our people has been critical. There was so much to do so quickly across so many facilities. If we didn't have task forces and if we didn't have local leadership teams that were empowered to make decisions on how they were going to change their shift or how they were going to lay out equipment different to allow for physical distancing, we could never have done it. And so empowering people is critical. I think being transparent and over communicating, we know that's important, but in times like this, it really shows itself. I do a video for all employees every week that gives an update on where we're at and what we know and what we don't and where we're headed, and encourages them to ask questions of us. And then I think it's always true that if you take care of your people, you inspire morale, you inspire loyalty, and I think what we've done in terms of the safety steps that I mentioned, what we've done with incentives, frankly, we set them every quarter, and we set them based on what's most important now, whereas many companies, I'm sure, when you got to the end of the first quarter, you knew your year was done in terms of incentive targets. We didn't do that. We reset our targets, and we feel like our people have probably never worked harder than they are now. We put in appreciation pay of an extra couple dollars an hour in all of our manufacturing facilities during those first couple months that were particularly uncertain. And I think those steps have really maintained morale. You certainly see, I'm sure we're all feeling the fatigue, Brad, your point around people feeling disconnected. How could you not feel disconnected if you're used to seeing your colleagues every day at the office and now you're not? So we're certainly looking to manage through that, but I think we've sustained it by some of these steps around communication and taking care of people. And I'll remember those leadership lessons for a long time.
Awesome. Interesting, Rick. Interesting time to pay people more. Right idea, but a lot of leaders don't have the courage to do that. So thank you for doing that. Who else wants to talk about a leadership change that they've seen in themselves and that they plan to carry forward? Devani?
I can share it again. Much like Rick was saying, it's not so much of a change, but it's more so appreciating how important it is more so than ever. But I think the one word that I think has really become important is empathy, right? And I think that's something that it goes both ways. It's more not just so much leader to team member, but it's kind of both ways and just person to person. And that's something that we keep reinforcing in our company. It's just treating each other with a lot of empathy because everybody's going through this in their own way. Yes, we are in it together, but everybody's going through this in their own unique way, and just having more empathy, whether it's for your team members or for your customers, right? I mean, everybody is kind of at the edge, and just knowing that and appreciating that and giving that breadth and that calm is, I think, something that we've been practicing. And I think the other thing, Rick, it's interesting that you mentioned the point about being disconnected, because that naturally happens, right? I mean, especially for companies, I know Katie's hiring a teacher every day. I know we've doubled our team. A lot of these people you're not even meeting in person before they're becoming part of your organization. So how do you connect them? And I think one thing we found is that it's just being connected to that broader purpose, that broader mission, right? And I think that's become so much more important, because nothing connects people than that feeling of actually doing something that's, goes beyond themselves and goes beyond just the company and is making a difference in people's lives. And I think that's really come to the forefront for us. I'll share one quick story because it literally happened a week back. We have a person on our team, he's been there for 2 years, and he was taking this Uber ride to the office. And the driver, much like you, Pete, he saw TV commercials, so he knew QB. And he was like, you know what, I was planning to get it for my mom. Justin ran up the office and literally gave him, this team member gave him the QB, and his day was made. And so it's those little things, and him feeling empowered to be able to do that and know that what he's doing every day is making an impact in people's lives. And I think that's just helped us just keep people connected to what we're doing here.
Awesome.
I'd love to add to that, like what you said, Shivani, about mission, because I truly believe that the way that Codeverse was built is why it survived the pandemic. And what I mean by that is similar to what Shivani has said, like from day one, when you establish what your mission is and you create a real set of values, that results in building a strong culture, right? And that results in building a team that feels like family. And it's interesting, like it becomes easier then to rally your family or rally your team of people, when they're motivated, when everyone is motivated by a genuine purpose, right? And I feel like that's something that a lot of companies get wrong. Like it's only when like shit hits the fan, like when someone quits or when something breaks, that companies say, oh, I need to think about my mission now, or I need to think about the values now. It's too late. You need to define those things early, so that they're built within the DNA of the company.
Great.
I think,
Thank you, Katie. Brad, you're top us
yeah,
off.
I'll jump in. I mean, obviously some great leaders are doing some great things on this panel. And I think that, just to jump on board, one thing that I think I took for granted was that the culture within our organization and with our team, we were running really fast and really hard, and we relied on sort of the social and the city of Chicago as our backdrop and the organization. And when we stopped interacting and when we all started going and working from home, it made it really, really difficult, right? How do you maintain that culture? How do you maintain the connectivity with your colleagues? And Shivani used the word thoughtful and intentional. And those are words that I feel like when we're interacting and leading now, how can I be more thoughtful and intentional? And a main focus of our employees and of our team specifically is like mental wellness and well-being. And again, we're all doing this. And I know these leaders are all thinking the same thing, and we're all doing this. How can we do it with some intention to make sure that we're all connected and we do feel connected? Because listen, I've been doing what I've been doing for almost 20 years. And I've never felt so disconnected from my employees and colleagues. And so I look at that and say, gee, what is a first year grad? How are they feeling? I mean, how much? So I think that we're trying to stay more connected. We're trying to do some fun as well in this time that's, been a little challenging for others. But I think, I echo what Rick, Shivani, and Katie said.
Awesome.